Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So today I have an updated brow routine for you guys. This is going to be on how to fill in sparse, thin, light colored eyebrows and help you go from like having very thin, maybe fine, maybe no eyebrows to like actually looking like you have eyebrows, which I think is nice. People, you want eyebrows. So I actually have 2 other eyebrow tutorials on my YouTube channel, but they're kind of old and I figured I should do an updated one. So let's just jump into it. So I'm sure you guys have heard of these 2 products, but I'm going to talk about them anyway. I have the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz, and I use soft brown and taupe. And then I also love the Precisely My Brow and the Goof Proof Brow Pencil by Benefit. And so I use shade number 2.5 and 3 in this product. Okay, so let's talk about eyebrows. The first thing you want to do if you are like very new to this and you don't know what's really happening with your eyebrows is look at them. You want to look at your eyebrows and see what are the differences in your eyebrows, because that's really going to matter, because you're not going to be able to do each brow the exact same way because they're different. So for example, my eyebrow on the right side of my face grows only to here. Like this is where the hair grows, but this side grows super long. So I have to realize that this side is going to be pulled out more with the pencil than this side would be. So just take a minute to kind of like notice the differences in your brows so you can kind of like take a mental note. So when you start to fill in your brows, you know like, okay, well this one's already shorter, so that's got to be longer, and then this one can just stay where it is, and so on and so forth. So that is your step 1 before you do anything. Step 2 is you want to take note of your natural brow shape, because this is the face you were born with, and the natural shape of your brow actually matters, because maybe if your brows are pretty straight like mine, you're not going to be able to do like a crazy arch, because that's not how your face is literally shaped. Because when you turn your head to the side, you don't have like a strong brow bone. When you draw a giant arch, it's going to look like insane, literally. So you have to like keep in mind of your natural brow shape. Not saying you can't go outside of it. I'm just saying keep it in mind. If you have super high arched brows, it's going to be weird to like draw a straight line like across your really prominent brow bone to make it look straighter, if that makes sense. So it's kind of just like little adjustments here and there. Just like if you were filling in like uneven lips, I have a video on that. You're only going to want to make slight changes. You're not going to be able to like change your whole eyebrow shape completely, if that makes sense. So like, let's be realistic about our brow shapes. Okay, so the next step, you want to figure out where your brow should start, where the arch should be, and where it's going to end. So how you're going to do that is you're going to probably use your brow pencil, because that's going to be easiest. You can open it up to make a little mark. And what you're going to do is you're going to line up the first part to the inside part of your nose, right here, not all the way to the edge of your nose. You want to line up the pencil right here on like the inner part of your nose. So lining up here, not on the way to the edge, this is where your brow should start. Now, I feel like when a lot of people teach this, they say just go here. But the thing is, look where my brow would be starting. I would have like brows like that are having like separation anxiety with each other because they would be so far apart. So you want to line it up with the like closer to the inside part of your nose. So here's where your brow should start. That's basically where mine starts. So you can make a little mark if you want to kind of make a guideline. And then same thing with the arch. You're going to go from the inside part of your nose. Look straight ahead, go like you're like cutting your pupil in half. And here is where your arch should be. Now, the height of the arch is going to be determined when you start filling it in, but that's where it should hit in terms of where the arch's highest point will be. And then for the end of your brow, you're just going to look straight ahead once again, line it up with the edge of your eye with a straight line. And this is where my brow should end. Look how far away that is. So I'm going to make a little mark there. You can barely see it. But like if you look at this side, look, my brow ends exactly where it should. So differences, people. All right, now that spiel's out of the way, let's get into filling the brows in. So you guys can use whatever brow pencil that you like, but you just want to make sure you have a spoolie on the end of it, or you have a spoolie on hand, because it's going to be your best friend. First things first, you want to turn your head to the side and tilt it back. I've been doing this for years. I did this in the last 2 videos that I posted 2 years ago. This is gonna really help you see your brow from a different perspective than straight on. Straight on is going to be difficult for you to really see the full effect of your full eyebrow. So turning your head to the side and slightly tilting back is really gonna allow you to see your brow in a perspective that's gonna help you fill it in. Okay, so we are tilted back. Now you're gonna take your spoolie and you wanna brush all of your brow hairs upwards and brush any kind of foundation out of the hairs. All right, so something that I sometimes do when I want my arch to look more defined, but I don't want to bring up the arch in the actual arch area, is you can start the line of your brow at a higher angle. So like starting a little bit underneath where your brow hairs grow and going a straight line toward your arch is gonna make it look like it's more arched without having to draw in a lot up here, if that makes sense. So I'll do that now. We're gonna kind of like exaggerate the brow just a little bit so it looks a little more angular without putting a ton of product in a place that doesn't really have a bone, if that makes sense. So you wanna hold the pencil at the back of it so that you're getting like the lightest stroke possible. And what you're gonna do is start to fill it in super lightly, going at an angle that's like a little bit further down than your actual brow hairs, and go in a very straight line, but very lightly. Even just looking at it from head on now, you can see that this one looks a little more exaggerated already, even with that light line. So now we're gonna leave that line there, and I'm gonna kind of brush my brow, just not down like this, but like just brush it into itself so that I can see my actual skin. So everything is about parallel lines. So you wanna imagine this line of your brow matching up with the line on top. So everything is parallel. So parallel line here, and then you got a parallel line here. And if you were gonna draw it all the way out, this one would go all the way out like that, and this one would go all the way out like that. Alrighty, so we're gonna go in and start at the top. So remember the parallel line. We're gonna just start lightly, like literally feather strokes. Start making some sort of a line out to where we marked where our brow arch should be, but keep in mind, it doesn't have to go as far as you marked it. It might not need to go that high or like that far out. That's just where the peak of the arch should be. So here's my peak right here. Actually, I'm gonna start drawing a line down from it first. And then I can see where I need to extend to. I'm gonna extend to out there. And you always wanna make sure you're extending out and not downward like a circle for your brows. You wanna extend up and lift them. So when I start to kind of have like an idea of this line and this line, I'm gonna start to kind of like use like roundish strokes toward where the arch is gonna land. Okay, so we already have a more shapely brow than before with just these little strokes. So going back underneath the brow, kind of just going back and forth to tweak a little here and there. You don't want to go like all in in one place and then be like, oh God, I did too much and now I can't match the other parts. You know what I'm saying? So going back underneath, and I'm gonna go all the way under my brow, extending this parallel line all the way down and out. So it kind of has like an anchor. Always want to brush the brow hairs upwards. And the spoolie is really going to help you guys kind of blend the product into your brow so you don't have to use as much product and it's not going to turn out like super duper dark. Okay, so now that I have kind of the general shape, I'm going to really lightly run the brow pencil through my front of my brow hairs in that parallel line just to kind of make sure that that line is extended all the way through. But you don't want it to be a stark line. You don't want a boxy front brow. You want it to be super natural. And I'm literally going against the grain of my brow hairs. And if you went outside the lines too much, you can use the spoolie to kind of clean things up a little bit. Looking super natural and really good so far. So the next step is I'm going to just add some hair-like strokes throughout the whole brow to give it a little more definition. But you do want to remember that wherever you're going to concentrate more strokes, it's going to be darker, obviously. So you want to concentrate more strokes in places that you don't have hair. So like, for example, for me, that's up in here. So I want to make sure I make this a little bit darker than right here because I have hair here. It just needs to be like a little bit more even, but over here I need to kind of build up the brow. So I'm going to start where I need to build, which is over here. And just hair-like strokes. Stay in the lines that you created. Just gradually building the darkness up. And turning your head to the side is really going to help you with your tail of your brow. You want to make sure that it's not like curving out and then going like curve and then down. You want that to be straight. So really turn your head to the side and you can see where you need to kind of like straighten it out, which for me is like right here. And then in the front of my brow, I'm just going to use hair-like strokes upwards to fill this part in. And the more pressure you use, the more product will be distributed. So super light pressure means less product, and then super kind of intense pressure means more. Okay, so this isn't necessary, but I'm gonna switch to soft brown because it's a little bit darker in color, just to kind of add some dimension to my brow so that I'm not just layering the same color on top of itself, because it eventually isn't gonna get any darker than it already is. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go in with soft brown and just especially go up into the arch where I need a little more opacity. And because it's darker, it layers great and it does it really quickly, because you've already laid down the groundwork. Now that I'm pretty happy with the shape and everything, I feel like it looks pretty good. It looks still like really natural. So I like my eyebrows like kind of bushy in the front. You guys can do them however you like, but this is the difference. So we've got this brow, and now we've got an actual eyebrow that's lifting my face and making me have a face shape. I think it still looks pretty natural. It doesn't look like super crazy brow. I don't carve it out with any concealer because I like a softer underneath my brow because I have to use so much product under there. I don't want to like emphasize it looking not real, if that makes sense. So I'm okay with like a softer look. But you guys obviously can go underneath and clean it up if you made any mistakes or you just feel more comfortable like that. So now for the last step, I'm going to go in with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Clear Brow Gel. Looks like this. You can use any clear brow gel, but I definitely suggest using one because it's going to help keep your brows in place, especially if you've kind of like, especially because we kind of like go outside the lines. We want to make it look like there's hair growing there. So this really helps do that. So just going to tilt my head back like before. Just run this through really gently. Don't push down. You don't want it to like mess with the product. But I definitely feel like this helps everything look a little more like hair. See, it's like even though we just added another product, I feel like it looks more natural. Just wanted to zoom you guys out so you're not like so up in my face and you can see the difference from back here. And then if you see any spots like right here, I see a little bit of openness. You can go in with your pencil after that dries and just kind of fill it in so it's not like too noticeable. So just remember, you guys, do not be so hard on yourself, especially if you're really new to this. This has taken me years to learn. Years of practice and horrible eyebrows to even just get here, and it's not even perfect. But that's the thing. It's never going to be perfect. You just have to find something that suits you and do your best, and you can do it. I promise. If I learned how to do it with these eyebrows, you can learn too. Just take your time, be patient with yourself, and practice. When you have time and you got nothing to do and you're like, I should like try putting on some eyebrows right now and see how it goes. Like, do that. The more practice, the better you'll be, the more natural you can get them to look. I'm gonna quickly go do my other brow and I will be right back. So once you have the other one filled in, you wanna kind of go back and forth to see what you need to tweak and change to make them look the same. Because if you don't do that, you might end up with like two really different brows. So like I said, my brows grow a lot differently. This arch always ends up looking higher than this one. So I always feel like after I do this one, I try and go back in to this arch and just kind of bring it up a little, just literally a tiny bit, to try and make it match this one, because this one like naturally has more of an arch. And then I kind of try and take a little bit off the top of this one so it's not so pronounced. Alrighty, so for me, this is as close as it gets to even. And you will finally get to that point yourself and be like, all right, I think I need to stop. So put the pencil down, you're done. All right, that is it for this video. If you guys want to check out my other brow videos, I'll link them down below. They're definitely like different brow shapes. Things have changed in the last 3 or 4 years. So if you want to see different shapes, maybe they match your brow shape ideas a little bit better, you can go check those out. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. It helps me out so much. And if you like me and you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel and you can hit the bell next to the subscribe button and you'll be notified anytime I post. Thank you guys so much for watching and I will see you in my next video. Bye.